When it comes to Sonic the Hedgehog, one of my favorite characters has to be Tails, and I'm going to get into that right now. So, little backstory. Tails' real name is Miles Prower, and he was born on West Island, where he was bullied for having two tails. His life changed when he met Sonic the Hedgehog, and Tails at that point just wanted to follow him around and go on adventures with him. Tails improved his speed and gained the ability to fly, or he might have had the ability already, I'm not sure, but the point is, he pushed himself, and now he's by Sonic's side. Now, what do I like about Tails? He has character growth. That's something like that. I like these sidekick type characters. Like, compare Sonic and Tails to Batman and Robin. I like seeing Robin grow from being Batman's sidekick to becoming his own hero as Nightwing. So I'm kind of seeing that with Tails as the games go on. He grows for the most part, and he's kind of becoming his own hero after spending the first couple of games, at least during the Genesis era, as Sonic's sidekick. So Tails has his big moment during the Dreamcast era. Sonic Adventure 1 starts with him still being the sidekick, but as the game goes on, he grows and becomes his own hero. And by the end of his story, he's able to defeat Eggman by himself without Sonic's help, showing that he can fight by himself and that he is strong. So by Sonic Adventure 2, he's regularly fighting Eggman, and he's much more confident in that game than he's been in a lot of these other games. So that's a cool detail about Tails, that he grew. He became a better person. So then from there, things have gone either up or down. Because, like, for the most part, Tails is Sonic's sidekick. He's just there to help him out, do what he needs to do. And the thing with Tails is that he's very valuable as a team member because he's very intelligent, he can fly planes, he can build things, he has impressive inventions. These are things that Sonic himself finds cool about Tails, because as much as Tails admires Sonic, Sonic equally admires Tails. So, but then there's a couple of games that kind of stood out to me as that makes me wonder, what are they doing with Tails? So, at least as far as the mainline games go, but Sonic Unleashed, that was like the first thing that had me worried. I noticed that when you first meet Tails in that game, he's seen cowering in fear because of the Dark Gaia creatures. Now, I could let that slide because the Dark Gaia energy kind of brings out a sense of fear in people. So Tails might have snapped out of it when he reunited with Sonic. So I'll say that Tails was like that because of Dark Gaia's energy. But then he kind of goes back to his sidekick role or his assistant role, whatever you want to call it. And then by Sonic Lost World, they introduce an interesting story for him. Here, it seems like he and Sonic are slightly at odds, because he's doing things and Sonic's like not listening to him at points, or maybe even doubting him. I don't know. It gets confusing because it changes between the English and Japanese version. I think the Japanese version made things a little less hostile, but there is a point where Tails is upset because they have to work with Eggman, and Eggman's their enemy. Tails feels a little disrespected because he's like, what do we need Eggman for? I'm a genius too. I can build things. I could stop the Zeddy. So there's like a little bit of a quarrel with Sonic, but it's not dragged on too much. In the end, Tails and Sonic are like brothers. Tails is not gonna stay mad at Sonic forever, and he cares more about his safety, and they can work things out. So there doesn't need to be any baseless drama. But and then comes Sonic Forces, and anyone who knows Tails in that game knows this fun little line: "Sonic, help me!" Okay, let's see where this problem begins. Right at the beginning of the game, I recall Tails being afraid because he saw robots coming towards him. Why was he afraid? He can handle Eggman's robots. He doesn't even need a Cyclone. He could defeat them by himself. And then you have this whole Sonic help me thing, because you can't even say, oh, it seemed like Sonic died, as an excuse for that, considering, like I said a second ago, he was scared even before he thought Sonic died. So now here, he's definitely going back to being scared because Chaos shows up. It's Chaos Zero. Okay? Tails fought Chaos 4. Yeah, you could say that Sonic and Knuckles were there. I think Tails is strong enough to fight Chaos Zero. This is like so long after Sonic Adventure, Tails must have gotten a lot stronger. He should have been able to handle Chaos Zero. I'm convinced Cream the Rabbit could have handled Chaos Zero. So seeing Tails cower in fear over the Chaos's weakest form just feels disrespectful to his character. And then he gets all happy because Classic Sonic shows up. And I'm going to say this here. Classic Sonic never needed to be in Sonic Forces. They should have made Tails a playable character in Sonic Forces and show that even though he's upset that he thinks Sonic is dead, he's going to rise up and try to save the world of Sonic's stead. Because apparently 6 months passed, so that should have been plenty of time for Tails to kind of maybe not, you can't get over Sonic's death, but at least learn to grow stronger from it. I mean, this was like maybe a week afterwards. I could understand he's a little depressed, but 6 months should have been enough. So I think he should have had that anime moment where he just got better. But no, they squandered it, and it's ridiculous. Frontiers tried damage control, but even Frontiers was not really the best. Maybe it's because of the language, because I know there's a point where Tails said he fell apart because of Infinite. That was supposed to explain why he was the way he was, but I still don't think that was the best explanation. And on top of that, there's a point where Sonic says to Tails, "Hey, who stopped the missile at Station Square? Who warned me about the Deadly Six?" Tails was like, "I'm mildly inconsistent," or something like that. That's like borderline breaking the fourth wall. At least the Japanese version was written much more better with him saying, that's not important to kind of show that Tails is just upset. But still, I don't know if Frontiers is going to fix Tails' character, or this is just a temporary thing, and then the next game or whatever, he's going back to being useless or not utilized well. And I don't want that for Tails. I think Tails has so much potential as a character, but he's not really utilized well enough. Like, it's not even just a problem with the games. A lot of media messes up. Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog barely showcases Tails' genius, and he maybe one episode, but barely in that show. Sonic's at EM, that's my favorite Sonic show, but that show didn't use Tails that well, except for maybe a couple of episodes, like him being able to hack something, or even figuring out that Sally Acorn was replaced by a robot. And I like the episode because it shows Tails' bond with Sally. But beyond that, he didn't do much. Sonic X, they tried to give him something, at least by Season 3, because he was sidelined for the first 2 seasons by Chris Thorndike, aside from maybe the Sonic Adventure adaptation, but still, he was like, he was barely used until Season 3, and then they gave him something. So, Sonic Boom, he barely got anything. Sonic Prime, The movies, second movie, for anyone who's seen My Hero Academia, he basically turns into Izuku Midoriya every time he sees Sonic. So, he has this whole annoying fanboy side to him. Without giving too much away, he's a lot better in Sonic 3. And then you even have the comics, from like the old Archie days, where he's like, he's had his own issues, especially when it came to characters like Fiona Fox, and then he was randomly married to Mina Mongoose and Light Mobius. So like this is kind of weird, but then you have IDW. Honestly, I barely read IDW these days. No offense, but that comic kind of sucks. And then Fleetway, I barely read that either. That comic has so many weird issues, but I don't think Tails was handled well. Tails, he has potential, and I'd like to see him reach that potential. But it's going to be hard for him to do that if he's not written well. So, maybe in the next few games, he'll be better. Maybe he'll get his own spin-off game, because I'd love to see Tails' spin-off game. If Shadow could get a spin-off game, I'd like to see Tails get one. So, but, you know what? Time will tell, I guess. I still like Tails for what he is. I like seeing his buddy friendship with Sonic. I love seeing his relationship with Princess Sally in the TV show and in the comics, and just his overall interactions. So, hopefully he gets done justice. But that's all I have to say. I'm out.